Read that again. Read it again. Oposición lo mueve de su posición. Lo que dice. Look at your neighbor and say, I can't believe it. Grab your head and go, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. Do it again. Slap yourself. Say, I can't believe him. No, somebody say, cállate, shut up. No lo puedo creer. After God appears to him, and God tells him, this land I'm giving to you. And now he's allowing opposition to move him from his position. Brother, I think I'm going to find me another church because here I don't feel the Spirit of God. When you get over there, you just let opposition move you from your position. Now you ain't hearing me. Because moving from church to church is not going to do it. Are you hearing me? Because you can be in a Catholic church, and as long as you're standing in your position, God's going to fulfill his promise in your life. Last night we went over to a barbecue my neighbor had to get rid of Chris out of the neighborhood. The Filipino, we had a minority barbecue to her. Bethany and Lori and Perry's wife, the Filipino, were the only white ones invited to the party, and that's because they were married to us. And we were having a barbecue there. And I don't know what brought up religion and church. And Perry was talking about when they lived in the Philippines, that Lisa would go to the gym, and then he made a kind of sarcastic, ugly remark about, and then she came to the house and had a Bible study. And then something brought up, and the thing was brought up, and they said, well, I asked for, what brought up? Anyways, it was a Baptist church that was having the Bible study, and then Chris immediately said, Bethany's Baptist. And Bethany answered, and she said, I'm a Christian. Oh, no, you better give it to the Lord better than that. Somebody give the Lord a better heart. Good Lord. You can call yourself a Baptist, you can call a Pentecostal, you can call yourself Assembly of God, you can call yourself Catholic, you can call yourself Presbyterian, you can call yourself Methodist, as long as you know how to listen to the voice of God. And when God says you go, and when he says don't go, you don't go. Are you understanding me? And when opposition comes, you learn how to stand in your position. Cuando viene la oposición, sabes cómo pararte. I was watching yesterday, I've been watching the college football tournament, the college softball tournament, the girls softball tournament. And yesterday, Georgia Tech got whooped, Chris. And they were rated real high. And they thought that they were going to win this tournament. But yesterday, there was 3 girls on base, Brother Jeremy. And this one girl came to bat, Brother Fidel. And she was facing one of the best pitchers in the college softball, rim there. And when she pitched the ball, Eddie, 55 mile an hour underhanded pitch. That's about as fast as I throw. And when she throws this ball, man, this girl that was batting, she connected Chris and sent it right over the fence. And guess what? Man, she hit her a grand slam. Understand, that ball went over the fence. And you saw, listen what I'm telling you, you saw the Georgia Tech team, boy, as that ball went over the fence. And as these runners began to run around the base, Eddie, you saw them lost every self-confidence, emotion that they had within themselves. Toda confianza que ellos tenían. My God, one hit took the breath out of them. And that game went from being 2-2 before you knew that it was 14-2 was the final score of the game. Man, they couldn't play. They couldn't catch. They couldn't do anything, Chris, because somebody came and took the wind out of them. When opposition came, instead of standing their ground and, are you listening to me, and playing with the ability that they had to play, they gave up and they let opposition come and affect their performance. My God, listen to me. Some of you here this morning, you've been in church a whole long time and you're still playing the loser's game. Why? Loser, loser, you loser, big loser. Amen. And we're still playing that same game. Why? Because you're in the ball game, but you're playing with all the wrong motives. You have the ability, you have the skills to win. God has given you the power to overcome, but you let opposition come and move you. And you give up. Tell somebody when you're down, that's when you should play the hardest. Are you hearing me? Cuando estás down, es cuando debes jugar aún más fuerte. Are you hearing me? Verse 8. Let me finish this. There he went on toward the hills of East Bethel. And he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Everybody say, he built a long altar. But check this out, Chris. The Lord didn't appear to him. Did somebody get that? Some of you came this morning, you tried to worship God. But the presence of God didn't even show up. You didn't even feel anything. That's why you sit there looking. You came to be entertained while we're singing, while we're worshiping. Everybody say he built an altar. Please understand this. Tell somebody, when you move from your position because of opposition, you'll try to worship, but there'll be nothing in it. Altar represented worship. The word altar means a place of encounter. Y la palabra altar quiere decir un lugar de encuentro. El altar representa adoración. So here Abram knows the thing to do, Chris. He built an altar. But the first altar, the Lord appeared unto him, and he heard the voice of God. The second altar was something that he made, and God didn't even show him. Why? Because he moved out of his position. Se movió de su posición. Now listen to this. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued to negate. Say, when you're not in the right position, you'll keep moving around. Hey, I'm going to go to Trinity Church now. Over there, we got lights. And you get to Trinity Church. Ooh, these are too much lights. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm done wooski. We're recording for YouTube. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go to EWC because they say that's where all the action is. You go to EWC and it looks like the WFC. Did you see that on YouTube? Then you leave that church. Well, you know what? I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to go back to the Catholic Church where I came from. Yes. Then you go over to Our Lady of Grace and you find out that Brother David Cruz was an ex-Pentecostal preacher, and he still preaches like a Pentecostal preacher. He just got a little collar on now. And when you get in there, Brother David Cruz starts preaching at you, and you say, man, the streets don't even know how to do mass. He really preaches. I'm getting out of here. I think I'm going to become Baptist. Y ahí vas. En español.